I was sent this post a couple of times yesterday. People really want me to read through this, so let's go ahead and get to it. This woman says, I may have blown up my 15-year marriage and I'm scared. Okay, they are both 39. She posted this in the True Off My Chest subreddit. She says, my husband and I have been married for 15 years and we have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. I thought we had been happy. Last year, my husband told me he wanted another kid. I said no. The 4th pregnancy was really hard on me. We are getting older. We always said we wanted 3 or 4 kids, and 4 seems like enough to me. I just don't want another child. He has spent the last year trying to convince me, coming up with plans and bribes and arguments about why this is a good idea. It really meant a lot to him, and it was clear he wanted this very badly. I promised him I'd seriously consider it, but that I really didn't want this. 2 nights ago, he was doing it again, and I snapped and told him I didn't want to talk about it anymore, and that it was really stressful that all he ever wanted to talk about was a new baby. We went to sleep, and then the next day, he stopped talking to me. He went silent, wouldn't respond to me, just sat and radiated hostility before disappearing into the basement for the whole day. After the kids were in bed, I tried apologizing for snapping at him, but he just said, I'm done. I'm not talking about this anymore. You win. And then he left the house for a previously scheduled event and hasn't spoken to me since. Slept in the basement. I've never heard him sound so angry or defeated or resentful. I'm terrified that this is the rest of my life. A silent, resentful presence in the house that ignores me and the kids. I feel like a terrible mother and wife for not wanting another kid, but I don't want to have one as the result of a threat or to save our relationship. He scares me when he's like this. He holds grudges forever. We are Catholic, and I know he wouldn't ask for a divorce, and I don't want one, but I can't imagine spending the rest of my life living with someone who hates and resents me. I'm just scared and sad, and I don't know if this can be fixed. If he won't even talk to me. I don't have anyone I can tell about this. I just needed to say it somewhere. An adult man throwing a temper tantrum and, doing the silent treatment and storming out and being hostile because he can't force a pregnancy. I'm sure that this is emotional abuse. Someone is going to have to weigh in on what this is, but this is an emotionally abusive person. Got her stressed out because she doesn't want to put her body through the stress of another baby on top of taking care of the kids that are already there, knowing that she has a 5th child that is an adult male that she has to cater to his whims as well. This woman did nothing to blow up her marriage. The fact that she has a king baby, that she has to navigate his emotions, is what is tearing up this woman's life and relationship. When I first read this title, I'm like, what could she have possibly done? And that's the reason why I didn't read through it, because what could she have done? She didn't do anything. She just doesn't want to have a baby. And thinking that you're going to make a baby, build the whole baby in your body, and then recover and all of that, that's too much work for a king baby of a husband. She didn't do anything wrong in this situation. What she has to figure out is how many times is he going to blow up and act like this when he doesn't get his way? She's talking about he holds grudges forever. Is that how you really want to live? This is the reason why I don't trip out on people getting divorced, but so many people have this stigma about it. No, some of these people don't deserve to stay married, but let's go ahead and get into a few of the comments. Fairies Told Me To says, he is ignoring the children he has because he can't have another one. Make it make sense. Mom of 2 Chicklets says, this was my first thought. He wants another kid for her to take care of and for him to ignore. Mirowin says, no, he will never stop harassing her until she can no longer have them. Then he may move on to someone else who can. I've seen it happen to one of my girlfriend's moms, and it was so sad. Pineapple Desperate says, he is a breeder. He thinks that is what people are here for, is to make more people. Whether that is a bad or good thing is inconsequential to him. All he cares about is making more kids. Similar Abalone says, sounds like he's more obsessed with the idea than actually being present. And then Anthro says, it's a kink. Throwaway says, yeah, also, it does not surprise me to read that they're Catholic. Prunosh Alice says, yup, bet he's hands off the kids and not making that much either. Whew. She didn't talk about who's taking care of the kids, who's working, and all of that. Anthro at the bottom says, every sperm is sacred begins playing in my head. I don't understand that reference. I know someone probably does. Snorkel says, sounds like a control thing. He can more easily control her if she's home with the baby. And then Commercial Exotic says, and she can't do anything tied down to a bunch of kids. Can you afford all the kids when he dies? Kitty Grew a Mustache says, definitely a control thing. His reaction to her saying no to him is really indicative of someone who feels the need to regain control however necessary. And then Snorkel says, exactly, he sounds abusive. She sounds like a stay-at-home mom, and he doesn't like that she's starting to assert some independence. Complete Ad says, or he just doesn't like that she said no. This person says, wait until he finds out what child support will look like with 4 kids. And then this person says, best answer. But then at the bottom, Firm Bank says, but he's a stay-at-home dad. She didn't mention that. When I saw that, I went to her page and she has her comments hidden. So I didn't see anything that said that he was a stay-at-home dad. But that's what Fernbank says. But he's a stay-at-home dad. Good chance he get at least 50% custody. He doesn't work right now. Starting a new job, chances are he'd make less than her and she'd be paying him support. This is a no-win and children lose big time. I'm wondering if she said more in the comments. There were over 500 comments. I couldn't scroll through all of them to figure out where Fernbank got this information from. This morning when I woke up, I saw that she had made an update. She says, I'm seriously overwhelmed by this response. I can't possibly respond individually, but so many comments hit me hard. Someone said that if he would do this for 5, he'd want 6. And I almost cried because this is actually why we have 4. He was so upset that I wanted to stop at 3 that I gave in. So he has done this before and he promised me that when we would be done, and now he's saying we'll be done at 5 instead. And he does think I'll give in because I did last time. He keeps saying that it was fine last time and I love all my kids, so I will love the next one too. And he may be right, but I don't want another pregnancy and I hate feeling bullied into it just to keep the peace. I do want to say in his defense, he became a stay-at-home dad when our last child was born 2 years ago. So he definitely does childcare and is involved with our kids. He just sometimes disappears on us when he is upset with me. I appreciate hearing these responses. It makes me feel less crazy. I did ask him why he needs another kid, and he said that having kids is the most important thing we can do, so he doesn't understand why I won't prioritize it more. But I think I already have. Okay, so she must have mentioned something about him being a stay-at-home dad in the comments, because this was posted this morning or after I had already taken the screenshots with that person that says something about him being a stay-at-home dad. So he is caring for his own children. Yay, the bar is in hell that we're celebrating a man taking care of his own kids. But that doesn't mean that she should get bullied into having a 5th child because he thinks that they should prioritize having more. Cozy Cat Cafe says, men want children the way children want puppies. This man is being careless with your body. He takes for granted that you have survived 4 pregnancies. Sure, he'll cry if you don't survive the 5th, but he won't regret pushing you for it. And with that, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that she stands strong and firm, stands 10 toes down to it and say, no, I do not want this, and then see where the chips land. He is a stay-at-home dad. Yes, she may end up having to split custody and pay him. You know, that happens, but that's better than having that 5th pregnancy that she absolutely does not want. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think of this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Woman that says, I have the capacity and I have the authority and the agency.
I love that Miss Aisha, the therapist, I love that she's taking on this coffee date conversation because it's not really about coffee. It really isn't, just like she says. It's about women having standards, saying that this is what I want or this is what I don't want, and having people like clutch at their pearls because how dare you not take exactly what I am giving? And then don't let the woman be black or overweight or not somehow fitting in the standards of beauty, because then it will definitely be, how dare you have these standards and not take exactly what I am given? But I'm going to put Miss Aisha's video on the tail end because I want to talk about the fact that it is perfectly fine for men to have standards and say that they're going to exclude people, but then they do have issues when women decide this is not who I want to date. We live right now in a time frame where women can make choices about who they want to date. They can opt in or opt out altogether. And men can do the same, but men have always had the choice in who they wanted to date, especially since men are the ones that typically approach women. I said typically. So let's get into something that I want to connect this all together. I came across this post in the Dating Over 40 subreddit. This man says, dating in your 40s, no kids, but she has kids. Am I the only one saying, not my clowns, not my circus? He says, I'm a black man in my mid 40s, no kids. And here's what I keep running into. Most women in my age group already have kids. That by itself ain't the problem. It's everything that comes with it. Time scarcity, court dates, custody weekends, last minute cancellations. Her calendar is married to someone else's schedule. Budget strain. Daycare alone can eat up 9 to 16% of median family income for one kid. And he posted that's from the U.S. Department of Labor 2022. Some of these bullet points, I'm wondering if he just went to the Google and copied and pasted that, but okay. Even if I'm not footing the bill, it shapes the lifestyle. Role ambiguity. Am I the boyfriend, the stepdad, or just mom's friend? Research on step families literally calls it boundary ambiguity, and it tanks relationship stability. Co-parent conflict. If she and her ex are still at war, I'm basically signing up to be collateral damage. Identity creep. I never had kids for a reason. Why should my midlife piece turn into instant parenthood? I respect single moms, even though I was raised by both parents. But when I add it all up, I feel like I'm inheriting a circus I didn't sign up for. And I don't feel I should be vilified or denigrated for that. And he puts 2 exclamation points. Curious, do other men or women over 40 feel this tension? Is it selfish to say, I didn't make the clowns, I'm not running the circus? Okay, cool. He is a man that does not want to date women with children. I totally believe that that is valid. He has the right to his standards. But why is this even a question? Like, just don't date women with children. Don't approach, like, when you approach somebody, you are attracted to them, you start talking, you have a conversation, you ask these questions up front. Nobody is saying that you have to take on a woman with kids. You absolutely do not have to. Why does this have to be a consistent conversation? Because no one is making you have any type of relationship with women with children. And there are plenty of women out there that are looking to stay child free. It's a whole thing. We talk about it all the time. So I feel like this is just another way on single moms. Like the fact that they're even having this conversation consistently in social media spaces, I just feel like they just want to continue to dump on women with kids. And I don't get that, because especially as a man, you're the one that is going up to and typically approaching women. So why is this even a conversation? No, you don't have to go through all of this. That is absolutely your choice. But why do we have to keep on hammering at this? I typically click into people's profiles so I can see if they've been making comments, to see how long they've had their account. This is a way that I do to see if it's possibly rage bait or that type of post. But when I open this up and see his picture, I'm like, okay, let me see something. So this is the man in his mid 40s that is opting not to date single mothers. And I am really wondering, for the single mothers that are out there, Are you feeling particularly sad or down that this person who is saying absolutely not? I am uninterested in you women that had the nerve to go out there and have kids before the age of 40. Even though child-free women get castigated, but women that have actually fulfilled that duty that people tend to lump on women, they get castigated anyway. But like I said, people can make any kind of choices that they want to. That is perfectly fine and it's their business. I just get irritated with the way that society seems to want to dump on women who have had kids. I do not like that at all. But I feel like this dude has just a bit too much audacity for what he's serving up right now. That's just how I feel about it. And I'm not going to take the low-hanging fruit. I'll let y'all do that. Door number 4 says, no problem having your preferences. There is a problem with going on here and just looking for justification and support for your preference. There are guys like you, plenty of guys like you, according to the divorced moms who are dating. Plenty of guys like you who usually drop this after 2 or 3 dates. And then the OP, whose name is Primo Fontaine, he says, yeah, but unlike me, there are not a lot of guys like me that are actually looking for new perspectives on it. Why do you need a perspective on who you date, though? I've dated in my history more than several women with children, and all the experiences were not the same. And nighttime out of 10, not 9 times out of 10, nighttime out of 10, I wasn't the one that broke up the relationship. But the comment threat, not common thread, but the comment threat that I have seen is they still have ties to the child's father, or their child's father dictates how our schedule goes, and that's not fair to anybody. He says, so the pendulum swings both ways. I've had to cut ties. Okay. Like I said, people don't need to weigh in on this. He just needs to choose who he wants to choose and walk away from the people that he wants to walk away from. I did actually comment on his post. I said dating is exclusionary. Approach the people that you want to approach and then find out if they have kids and leave them alone. Like, what else can there be said about this? The reason why I bring this up, because I came across this post on Threads. This person named Simply Kaya says, I'm so tired of being asked why I don't have kids. Just because I'm cute doesn't mean I'm supposed to be a mom. I refuse to let you ninjas make me a baby mom. So you do have women out there that do not want children. You do. But then people like come down on the single and child-free women because they really expect women to have children. But then when women do have the children, they get on that way too. So it really doesn't make sense. Santa Bun says, the way these dudes are out here abandoning women to raise their children alone, don't do it. Keep your body, money, freedom, and peace of mind. A baby daddy is the biggest avoidable headache a woman can give herself. The women are starting to comment. This person says, protect your womb at all costs. Most of these men want kids like a kid wants a puppy. It's all fun and games because someone else is doing the hard work. And then Nay Alicia says, when they ask you this, ask them, did they marry their baby mom? And if not, why not? And then Simply Kaya says, LOL, they out here mad. I'm not creating broken, miserable homes like them. Now we have a man weighing in. This is Yah reigns over me. So he's like one of those Hebrew Negro lights or something. He says, oh, so now you're the chosen one because you cute and child free. Sis, who lied to you? Yah gave you that womb just to post selfies and talk slick. You ain't refusing to be a baby mom. You refusing to be a wife and mother in order. Big difference. You act like ducking responsibility is some badge of honor, but it's really just rebellion in a pretty package. So tell me, when the looks fade and the attention dries up, what exactly you gonna brag about then? Still being cute with an empty house? This person, Yah reigns over me, was a person that went kind of viral because a woman, she was like 23, and she posted that she had gotten a house. And he came in here and was pooping on this woman's parade because she got a house at 23. This picture that he's using is a picture of Donald Trump doing like some kind of crazy face. That's the reason why I only put the hair. So like I said, I was only adding her perspective because regardless, these child-free women are out there, but they still get it on both sides. So you might as well do what you want to do and have the standards you want to have, because men have standards too. So why can't women?
The reason why the coffee date conversation is so cyclical and it keeps coming back every single year is because we're not talking about coffee. We're talking about the fragile male ego and men's attempt to establish dominance over women and what that looks like and how that really is at play when we're talking about dating standards. And so when you have a woman that says, I have the capacity and I have the authority and the agency to create the type of dating experience I want. And I'm setting my standards and I'm going to critique you and determine if you meet my standards or not. And so men do not like being evaluated by women because they believe that they are the ones who should be choosing. And so whenever women say, I don't like this, I don't want that, when I tell you these men get in these comments and they are vicious, and they're vicious because they're trying to humble women in order to reestablish their sense of dominance. And when men say, oh, we're logical thinkers and women are emotional, what they're saying is that they don't believe women are capable of making their own choices and their own decisions for their life, even when it comes down to coffee dates. They believe that they are superior in their decision making skills and they are more effective at choosing what is best for you than you are and choosing what is best for yourself. And so, as long as we're only talking about coffee, we can do this every single year. But when we start talking about the fragility of the man ego, that's when the conversation going in.
I was tagged in this very short post in the Vent subreddit. She says, my boyfriend who has cancer broke up with me to hoe around before he dies. Okay, cool. The boyfriend broke up because he has cancer and he needs to go out and be community peen. When I read that title, I was like, cool, the trash took itself out. He said he needs to leave, All right, let's look at this very short post. He has stage 3 liver cancer and he's in a different city right now. He had been acting off recently. We have not been dating for 2 weeks now, but still in touch, updating each other about almost everything. Yesterday, he called me and told me he'll be going out with a few of his friends' girls, including one of which being a girl who had been crushing on him since middle school. Mind you, it was almost 12 at this point. I was like, okay, whatever. You don't have to tell me everything. He said, okay, at 1 a.m., he sends me a picture of her he sends me a video of her just smiling. I was so blank, I couldn't even think straight, but I acted nonchalant. Apart from this, when we broke up, his cheap ass asked me back for all the gifts he had got me when we had been dating for almost 3 years, by the way. So he needs the space to go out and do what he wants to do, to, hang out with other girls. He's over there hanging out, sending her pictures and everything. This woman needs to block him on all things because, he's just using her to be the emotional support human. He needs his emotional support human while he gets his needs met other places. And I really don't like the fact that she's answering the phone for him. No, have some self-respect. Dude broke up with you. I don't care what his situation is. He broke up with you so he can go do what he wants to do out in the real world. Out in the world outside of you. So you let him do that by blocking him on everything. Do not allow yourself to be used for emotional labor and emotional support. This is where block quicker. This is where I was tagged in from Am3142 saying, even at the end of their lives, they still choose to hoe around. And then I was like, woo, saves her time and energy from playing nurse. I feel like the trash took itself out. That's what I said. Let this man be gone. He took himself out of the picture. Let him stay gone. Just block him. Let's look at some other people's comments. Sir Maximus Black says, sorry to hear that. This is a good time to ghost him completely for the rest of his life and save yourself from the additional heartache. And to that, the OP says, I will, yeah. I hope I stand by it and I'm waiting for tomorrow to give back the stuff he gave me and block him. He just called me drunk and said he was out, like no self-control, crying and stuff. I still acted nonchalant, even though deep down I was worried about him. Emotional blackmail maybe, but that's what he's trying to do. And then Sir Maximus Black says, you hope you will stand by it. Don't hope, do it. You have control of your own choices in life. Make the choice and stick to it. Don't change your mind. What do you have to gain? Nothing positive, apparently. Feeling My Age says, why would you return the stuff? It's yours because it was a gift. He can F off, cancer or not. Gold Challenge says, plus he's dying, so what does he want it for? To give to someone else? Don't return anything to that idiot. And then Feeling My Age says, exactly, he's going to give it to someone else. And then other people are wondering, why give him anything? She answers the question in this comment. Whatever at this point says, he's reckless, keep your gifts, he's only going to re-gift them to other girls. And then she says he's very vocal about what he's going to do, and these weren't cheap gifts either. These were expensive gifts like Dior and stuff. I know for a fact that he'll be giving it to someone else. Then why are you even talking to him? Block him. This is rude of him anyway. She needs to just block this man. Promise Separate says, stage 3 isn't even end of life. Remedial is still very well on the table. Stage 4 is so, or maybe stage 4 is 2. I don't know what your boyfriend is on about, but you need to leave and block him. Say goodbye and block. And to that, the OP says, the thing is, at some point in life, he was someone I loved and adored the most. Seeing him suffer, vomit blood and stuff, scares me. And no one deserves to die this young. He's just 18, started doing stuff again, alcohol, drugs, injections, powder, blows, stuff, tons of money and those things, yet asked me back for the birthday gifts he got me. This dude is 18 years old and going through all of this and then okay. I didn't know that they were this young. So this is the reason why she probably does need people to say, no, just block him. She's still in that infatuation stage. She is a young woman. She's very young. And so, yes, block him. We've got to be okay with talking to our teenagers or even before teenagers. Block people who disrespect you like this. And honestly, though, if he's going to be crazy about these gifts, maybe it is worth her time and energy to just give it away and just be done with this dude completely. Whew. But that's okay. That's what Rez on the radio is saying. And that's what Rez on the radio is saying. I don't think you need to give him back anything. However, if it means you can have a clean break from him and can first him, that's maybe for the next. I'm not exactly sure what that means at the bottom, but basically saying maybe this is how you have a clean break. And that's what I'm thinking now that I know the rest of this and I see this comment. But y'all go ahead and weigh in on this situation. Tell me what you think. Like, comment, and share.
A man does not have to take financial responsibility for me, but he can if he wants to. And I'll choose the one who wants to. A man does not have to randomly bring me my favorite snacks or hold my hand in public, but he can if he wants to. And I'll always choose the one who wants to. A man does not have to plan cute dates or initiate adventures, but he can if he wants to. And I choose the one who wants to.
This is by far one of the best responses a woman can have to a man questioning her standards. This week, a woman went viral for refusing a coffee date. People were talking about whether or not she deserved one, or she didn't look a certain way, so how dare somebody like her request this or that. I think the best response to something like that is to say what she's saying here. A man doesn't have to take me on a dinner date, but he can if he wants to, and I choose the man who wants to. I think the male response to that woman's video made something very clear to me, and that is whether a man wants you or not, his ego can't take the idea that he doesn't meet your standards. You could not be his type. He could be married. He could already be in a relationship. All of these things. But if you say, I prefer a man that makes $100,000 or more, whether he wants you or not, he takes that personal. And he's going to bash you or bash that standard. But there are two places a woman should never go with a man, and that's back and forth. If you're ever dealing with a man and he either cannot or will not meet a standard that you have for yourself, let that man know, no, you don't have to do ... But you can if you want to. And I will always choose the man that wants to.